Hello, I'm redoing this. Welcome to What If Dante Was in My Hero Academia. Now, I just finished doing it. I just finished recording this for two fucking hours, and I really enjoyed myself there. Like, I really enjoyed myself for that. What if? What are they barking at? There's literally nothing to bark at. Anyway, now our story will focus around Dante, with Izuku's life being relatively the same until he meets Dante. Dante's dad, Sparta, is the number 2 hero. And his mom is an unknown person. We don't know who she is. I don't even know if she has a name in the games. I'm pretty sure they just called her mom and that was it. Now, Dante. Dante. Now, Dante's life goes the exact same as it does in his canon for his backstory. Except for when he gets into an orphanage, he beats up everyone who tries to threaten him, or abuse him, because his pure physical strength and speed are higher than what a 6-year-old should be. When Dante hits the age of 10, he gets a package in the mail. 3 swords. Devil Sword Sparta, Yamato, which I should have used more in my original version of this series. Yamato, and Rebellion. It's going to be similar to my original series, but has a tiny bit of changes. Now, Dante would have got a job at the age of 14. I don't know what job laws are in Japan, but I'm just saying that he got a job at the age of 14. Dante got a job at the age of 14, and as he was there, he got a job and got enough money to fix up his old house. The house where him, his mom, and Sparta lived. Dante does not have a brother in this. It's just Dante. If I had Virgil in this, I would have said, what if Dante and Virgil were in My Hero Academia, but it's just Dante. Dante does not have a brother at all. Nor does Sparta or anything, or nor does Sparta have a brother, or does anyone else. And Sparta's not a demon. He's actually human with a demon quirk called Devil Trigger. We all know what that means. His mom had an enhancement quirk, which is why which is why Dante's so strong in human form. It only enhanced the Devil Trigger quirk. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry. Now, she had an enhancement quirk that enhanced quirks. Or mainly just an enhancement quirk that enhances everything. So, Dante in human form is stronger than what Sparta is. Sparta in human form is just a normal human. Which is why his Devil Trigger is his hero costume. Now, Deku at a young age, Yamato, he has a storage space where he could pull anything out of. I'm going to explain a part of his quirk. Now, of course, he has increased physical strength, speed, and stamina. He has Devil Trigger, He has normal Devil Trigger and Sin Devil Trigger, but he'll unlock both of those later. I'm going to make this Dante more balanced, but still have some of the abilities of my original version of him. Dante can create anything he wants even if it does bend rules of reality. I'm saying that now. But he has to understand and know exactly what it do. And only the special ability of that item can bend reality. And it can't be. I'm not gonna get like really overpowered crap. Now, one day when Dante was practicing with Rebellion in the woods, and he sat down for a second and put down Rebellion against a tree, one of the kids would have taken Rebellion and tried to fight Dante with it. Dante not paying attention when the kid stabbed him through the chest. Dante looked up at him and says, "I've been stabbed multiple times. You think this is any different?" And Dante leaves his sword in his chest and pulls out Devil Sword Sparta. Now, I'm giving him Sin Devil Trigger way, way earlier. And I had never even used it enough in my actual main thing. So Dante already has Sin Devil Trigger now. He's 14 and he lives in his house. And the orphans do come to his house, or the ones he likes come to his house, and the ones he don't like come to his house to try to fight him. Now, Dante transforms into Sin Devil Trigger, scaring the kid off. Dante sees that his Rebellion and Devil Sword Sparta are gone, and when he transforms back, he tries to pull both of them out. But when he tries, a new weapon appears. Devil Sword Dante. Dante says, "Cool, a new sword." Dante then practices and then goes back to work. He went to work the next day. When he's handing out, being a waiter, he's a waiter. No. Let's give Dante a new ability I don't know if he's good at in the games. Dante's a fucking master chef. He's like Gordon Ramsay level. He's Gordon Ramsay level chef. He's a chef and a waiter. He doesn't show that he's really, really good at cooking. He just shows that he's decent and knows how to cook. When really, in reality, he's like Bond level cook. Gordon Ramsay and Bond level cooking. Now, when one day he meets two people talking about UA, a white little small animal with a scar over his right eye, and a man with yellow hair that looks like a skeleton. Because you gotta remember, when Deku was 10, which would also mean when Deku and Dante were both 10, they're not brothers, but when they're the same age they're the same age. When Deku and Dante were both at the age of 10, All Might fought All for One, and that's when that happened. I'm pretty sure, like 5 years before the start of the anime. I'm not sure. Now, Dante would have heard them both talking, gave them food, but then All Might would ask him why is that kid working at a restaurant. Dante would say, "Because I need money. I'm an orphan who lives I'm an orphan. I live by myself. I used my money to rebuy my mom and dad's house after they died." This saddens All Might, who saddens Toshinori Yagi, who we all know as All Might, as Toshinori offers to give Dante some money every once in a while so All Might can help him pay. Dante said thanks, but are you sure? All Might says yes, and Dante says thanks, that will give me slightly more time to train for the UA entrance exam. Nezu's ears will pop up and ask if Nezu's ears would... This would intrigue Nezu. Nezu would ask if Nezu would ask if him and my friend Toshinori could come to your house after you get done working, and Dante says, yeah, sure. Now All Might and Nezu were good friends of Sparta in this. Sparta was the number 2 hero, but unlike Endeavor, he wasn't fanatic about surpassing All Might. Now, God damn it, Dante's at this time Dante's 14. When they go to Dante's house, Dante drives a motorcycle in this. I'm just saying this because I want to give him a motorcycle. Because I want to. And that's about it. I don't know the laws in Japan, but I'm letting him have a motorcycle. Those laws change depending on the country you live in. Anyway. Now, Dante would have All Might, or who he knows as Toshinori, and who he knows as Nezu, because he doesn't know he doesn't know Nezu is the principal of UA, and that All Might is, or that Toshinori is All Might. He doesn't know that yet. Now, they would get there, and Toshinori and Nezu will both recognize the place that Dante is living in. As Toshinori would ask Dante who is his father, and Dante would say, my father was Sparta, the number 2, or was the number 2 hero. Toshinori and Nezu would get a shocked look on their face, as All Might says, if I knew you were Sparta's son, I would have if I knew that Sparta's son was alive, I would have taken care of you. Dante asks, what do you mean? As All Might Toshinori then buffs up and says, I am All Might, and I'm also a good friend of your father's. This would shock Dante, but Dante would almost immediately escape from his shock. And Dante would ask, why'd you want to come to my house anyway? Nezu said, because I want to have a few words with you. But now I know you're Sparta's son, I definitely want to talk to you. And then they sit down, with Dante asking if they want anything to drink. As Nezu just asks for tea, and All Might just wants water. And with Dante drinking a soda. Just for reference, let's just say what would he drink? Coca-Cola, let's just say that. I personally drink root beer. But anyway, that's neither here or there, and back to me to get back to the story. Anyway. Nezu offers a UA recommendation to Dante. Dante accepts this, and then Dante says that just allows me to not worry about the UA entrance exam and gives me a little bit more time to train. This actually puts a smile on his face and says, okay. And also because you are the number 2 hero son and are the number 2 hero, Sparta was a good friend of both of ours, was a good friend of both me and All Might. Me and All Might will be paying for your house. Dante thanks Nezu and Toshinori, and then they leave, giving Deku some money as well. Dante will still work at the restaurant for for a plot reason that I'm going to do during the 10 months of training. Now we'll cut back. Now we'll cut to All Might, who offered before he left, offered one for all. Dante refused, saying that I want to use my dad's power to avenge him and become the #1 hero. I won't take the #1 hero power to make a shortcut. This actually impresses All Might. And then All Might thinking to himself, this is a year later. All Might remembers what Dante said as he's running around looking for a sludge villain. We all know where this is going. All Might thinking to himself, I wish he would have accepted it, but I can just give it to Mario. Mario's a strong boy. He can handle it. Then he rushes around the corner to see where the sludge villain went, and he sees a boy being choked by the sludge villain. He sees a boy being choked by the sludge villain, and everything goes to canon from there. Until All Might offers one for all to Deku. And when Deku accepts, and this time the training's going to be different. He doesn't go to Dagobah Beach. All Might takes Deku to Dante's house, because Dante has a lot of really heavy weights, because he works out a lot for training. Dante quit his job to start the 10 months of training so he could train even more. And he's getting money from All Might and Nezu, who offered to help him until he became a hero. Dante accepted, and when he hears a knock at his door, he stopped what he was doing and opened it to see All Might and Deku. All Might's in a small Might form, as Dante would say, All Might, what are you doing here? And who's this? Now, Dante is taller than Deku. I don't know how tall Dante is, but for just sake, just to make sure, just to say that Dante's taller than Deku, Dante will be 6'1". All Might would introduce Deku, and All Might would introduce Deku, and All Might would introduce Dante, and then he would introduce Deku. As then, All Might would say, Dante, this is young Izuku Midoriya, and young Midoriya, this is Dante, the son of Sparta, and you will be training with him for the next 10 months. As Izuku called his mother if he can go train for 10 months with a friend. And go accepting. As Dante says, "Oh kid, I'm gonna push you to your Midoriya, I'm gonna push you to your limits. All Might have gone easy on you, but I'm not gonna go easy on you." All Might would explain that Deku's quirkless, and Dante would say, being quirkless is no excuse for not working on your body. But your body is important. Even if you were quirkless, if you have a really powerful body, you could still become a hero. Then Dante said, look at someone like Aizawa. Even if you don't have a quirk, you could still use a fighting style like he does, like with his scarf, to wrap people up. Or he wouldn't say Aizawa, he would say Eraserhead. Deku, realizing this, calls himself stupid and says, "Why didn't I think about that?" And Dante says, "I'm gonna call you Izuku." Dante says, "And Midoriya, I'm gonna call you Izuku." Zuko says, or Deku says that's fine. Now for the Deku spends the 10 months at Dante's house, training, and he actually gets one for all at 7 months in. After that, he broke his arm once, went to the hospital, and Dante told him to not use that much power, and then he shows Deku about what he does is like how All Might imagined it. Deku shows him in person, but with water. Or Dante shows Deku how All Might imagined it, but Dante shows him with actual just water. And Dante says, "You see what I mean?" And Izuku unlocks full Cowling as well as 5% full Cowling. No, we'll say 3% full Cowling for right now, because he's not as strong as when he unlocked. He's not physically as strong as when he unlocked full Cowling in the actual events of the show. He's not as physically strong. So he has 3% full Cowling, and he's got combat training from Dante. So when he goes to the UA entrance exam, with Dante taking the recommendation exam, Deku does almost the exact same on the written portion. Or he does the exact same on the written portion, and gets a few points in the combat portion. Let's say because he's still slightly nervous. He did trip and meet Uraraka. And then after that, Deku did use one for all, 100% to break his legs and arms, saving Uraraka. Now, okay, my jaw hurts from talking so much today. I literally talked for 2 hours straight a second ago, or like 20 minutes ago. I talked 2 hours straight. We're recording this exact thing, but I'm redoing it now. It's actually part 2, and I actually got to the Black Forest training arc, but that's when I ended it and said I was going to redo it. So I can do stuff better and just improve the way I did it. Anyway. Now, Deku would have done almost the exact same, but actually getting like 40 combat points. And still getting the 60 hero points, so he did get first. Because Bakugo only got like, I think, 88 points. I don't remember, I think it was in the 80s. But we'll say Deku's, and we'll say in this timeline, Deku got 1 point above Bakugo. Just so I can have Deku be above Bakugo. So, and also so I don't think of a exact score for what he got. I can say he got 1 point above Bakugo. Now, Deku. No, we'll stop our attention back to Dante. Deku, after all that happened, would of course recover and do push-ups and sit-ups, mainly just working out back at his house as he went back home for a few days before the entrance exam to rest his body, and now he's working out again. Now we'll cut to Dante in the recommendation exam. Dante met Windude, Momo, and Todoroki, and a few other random students who got recommendations but won't be making it into Class 1A. Windude and Dante actually like each other and find each other very fun to hang around. Momo does introduce herself to Dante, and they actually hang out and get along well. And Momo hopes that Dante does actually make it in, because she finds him a rather interesting person. Now, Windude will not be going to Class 1A because of Todoroki still. Now, for the race, Windude gets first, Dante second, Todoroki third, and Momo fourth, and the random students after all them. Now we're going to do a combat exam. Dante beating Windude, and Todoroki and Momo beating 2 random students. Dante helps Windude up. I really need to figure his name out, so I can stop calling him Windude. Dante helps him up and tells him good fight. Windude likes Dante, but doesn't like Todoroki and does not want to be in the same class with him. So he doesn't get any. So he refuses to go to UA and goes to his UA sister school. The other one where he went to in canon. I'm thinking, sorry. Now, Dante goes to visit Deku. When Inko hears a knock on the door, she opens it to see Dante, and Dante says, "I'm a friend of Izuku's. He spent 10 months at my house, and I want to congratulate him on getting into UA." Inko lets Dante in, and Dante and Izuku have play some video games, and Dante heads home. Dante eats dinner with them and heads home. And now we skip 3 weeks where Dante does stay in contact with Momo, but they don't meet up. Now, on the first day at school, Sparta, let's say Dante's house is actually relatively close to UA. Probably like a 10-minute walk, or a 5-minute jog. We'll just say it's like we'll say it's a 5-minute walk from Dante's house to the school. I'm pretty sure in the actual anime that's very unlikely, but I'm going to say it is. I'm going to say that still happens. Let's say this way, it's like a 5-minute walk. So Dante actually gets there pretty early. He walks in just to see Momo and Todoroki, and he goes, sits down next to Momo, and them two start talking. When Deku shows up, he sees Dante and walks over to him. And then it's cut off by Ida, and the exact same thing to canon happens with Aizawa, and everything the exact same happens. Now, in the changing room, everyone will see a scar on Dante's back, and a scar on his chest. They ask where he got the scar from, as Dante would just pull out Rebellion and says, "I got stabbed through the chest using this. I was sleeping and, let's say and Dante says one of the other orphans got mad at me and stabbed me through the chest." And they ask, "How are you alive?" Dante says, "I have a very good regeneration. My quirk enhances my physical strength, speed, stamina. I heal a whole lot faster and can take a whole lot more damage than a normal person can. I can also make anything I want anything I want if I know what I'm making." Then he makes 2 deagles, which I still need to look up the name of. or Dante makes his two pistols. I don't know if they're deagles, but I want them. I don't know if they're deagles or not, but I want them to be deagles. Anyway, but he makes his two pistols, and says that these two are my favorite things I can make, other than my sword, which is Devil Sword Dante, named after me, of course. The rebellion he showed them was just a replica. Now, Dante would say, "I'll show off my quirk more when all of us have become friends. If we do." And then Minetta tries to peek through the hole, and Dante says, "Hey, you little gremlin. What are you doing over there?" Minetta turns around and asks, what'd you call me? And Dante says, "I called you a little gremlin." And Dante says, "If you peek through that hole, I'll break your nose." And even though I know, yeah, Dante is not that good of a person, but I'm making him do this anyway. Dante says that I may not be the best of persons to be saying this, but peeping in on girls like that is not right. When Jiro is to see who's peeking through to peek through the hole, to see who's talking to Minetta, or at least talking down whoever's trying to peek through the hole. She would look through to see. She would see, of course, Minetta staring back at a man with a scar on his chest, and she can see tips of white hair. And then she would notice that it was. Then she'll notice that it is Dante, or at least that dude with white hair who was talking to Momo. Jiro would ask, "Who is that dude with white hair you seem to like so much?" as he talked to Momo. Momo would blush and say, "It's not like that. His name is Dante." And then she will explain and Jiro would explain that Dante just saved all of us from being peeped on by that little purple dude. Momo would say, "What, really?" And Jiro would say, "Yeah. I just looked to see who stopped him, and then I saw him. Or at least I saw his white hair and recognized it to be him." Now, and we all go outside. All the girls already know that Momo has a crush on Dante. Dante seems to not care or notice. They see that Dante either doesn't care or doesn't notice. Then Aizawa throws Deku the ball, because Deku got first this time, and tells him to throw the ball with his quirk as hard as he can. Dante would say that, "Oh yeah, Izuku, come here." As Dante would give Deku 2 gauntlets, and says this is Ceratos and Barbatos. This is Ceratos and Barbatos. These will allow you to use 100% without breaking your arms. Aizawa would ask, "What are those?" Aizawa would ask, "What are those, and what do they do?" Dante would say that these are something I made. They're gauntlets that I made them exactly for Izuku. They allow him to use his power without breaking his body. I've seen him use it before at 100%. It was not that pretty. Aizawa says, yeah, we saw what happened in the entrance exam. His legs and his arm were crippled. And Dante says, I told you not to use 100%. At least not until I finished making what I was making. Izuku said, sorry, I had to save somebody. Dante sighs and says, fine, I don't care. Then Izuku throws the ball with 100%. He got like, I don't remember what score he got in canon, but I'm going to say in this with using his entire arm. And let's say it was Barbatos's side. His right arm is Barbatos. That's the side he threw the ball with. He would have threw the ball with Barbatos, and when he threw it, it would have gone 2,000 meters. Without Barbatos, it would have gone like 1,500. Now let's just say this time I had Barbatos increase his physical strength, but this time I'm gonna change it where it just makes sure it has no backlash. And Deku would throw it to 1,500 meters. Bakugo would get pissed and try to attack Deku, and Dante would make a comment and says, "What happened to you? What did he do to you, explosive boy?" And then Bakugo would turn his head around and say, "What did you say, white hair?" Dante would say that, "Yeah, my hair's white. Your hair's blonde, explosive boy." This would just piss off Bakugo even more, but Aizawa tells both of them to stop, or he'll expel both of them. Dante says okay, and just stops. Now, Dante does get second place in ball throw, beating Deku's score by, let's say Dante got 2,000 while in Devil Trigger. He's not going to use Sin Devil Trigger because he wants to hide that for right now, and only use it when he absolutely has to. Everyone asks after class, when everyone's resting or just waiting for school to end, everyone will question Dante about how he knows Izuku, and Dante would say that, "I met him one day. He was quirkless, but I got him to work his body up so he can increase his physical strength, and when I did that, his quirk finally awakened. Probably because it probably didn't awaken because he did not have the physical strength to hold it, so it didn't activate. So we didn't know he had one." Which everyone would accept that answer. Bakugo would also accept that answer. As then the question will pop up and ask Dante what's his quirk. Dante would say, "My quirk's Devil Trigger, just like my father, Sparta." This would shock everybody, and then they would realize that Dante is the son of Sparta. And they would say, "We didn't know that. We didn't know you were the son of Sparta." Dante would say, "That's fine. That's exactly why I got on a recommendation instead of doing a normal exam. Because of how powerful my quirk is." Bakugo said, "Your quirk isn't that flashy. Not as flashy as explosions." As Dante says, "At my full power, I literally can make black holes." Yes, Dante can do that. He literally has made a black hole before. Of course, it was like a game mechanic thing. This would shut up Bakugo and surprise everybody. And Dante would say that just because you have an explosion doesn't mean someone isn't stronger than you. Like, for instance, Izuku over here. At full power, he could Yeah, no. As Dante would say, at full power, Izuku could probably beat All Might if he could handle his quirk better. Everyone would ask how does he know, and Dante would say, I've seen their full powers side by side. All Might's been to my house before since All Might was a friend of my dad's. And All Might comes to my house, and then I speak to him every once in a while, and I ask him to show me his full power. He threw a punch, knocked down a forest, then changed the weather, made it rain that day. I didn't like it. I made an umbrella. Everyone would ask, do you joke like this all the time? And Dante would say yes, and Izuku would also say, he's always like that. Momo would also say he's like that. But that's why he's interesting. And realizing what she said, she'll start blushing and walk away. Dante would smirk and says, I think she likes me. Everyone would say, you think? Dante would say, anyway, back to explaining. Then the day Izuku's quirk awakened, and I told him to throw a punch. Dante stopped for a second, and he cracked the area around my house. We managed to fix it, but he looked at Deku and he says, "You cracked my fucking house." Everybody would laugh. Except for Todoroki and Bakugo, who don't really care. But Todoroki's listening, since he thinks that Izuku is like he still thinks Izuku is like the secret love child of All Might. And then that someone would ask him to explain his quirk, and Dante would explain that my quirk, I have two transformations. Of course, there's one you saw, and then there's a much more powerful one, the one that I use that I can create black holes with. That one I don't use that often. It is heavily draining. I said it before that he didn't want to reveal his Sin Devil trigger, but I don't really care. Dante's cocky. He doesn't care. Dante would say that form can create black holes. I don't use that form that much. No. Dante would also say that the other pieces of my quirk and how I made those gauntlets. And Izuku would ask exactly how did you make the gauntlets. Dante would say that a part of my quirk that none of you know about. I can create anything I want. As he pulls out these are experimental, but these are my gauntlets, which I call them Gumdeer gauntlets and boots. I can make anything I want as long as I know the individual pieces of that thing as well as what I want it to do. Everything I make has a special ability. Except for those gauntlets I gave Izuku. There's no special ability because it took so much power just to make it where it can handle Izuku's power without breaking when he uses it. Deku wouldn't have gotten last this time in the thing, but no one would have got kicked out either. Dante would have gotten first because of his just sheer physical abilities. And Devil Trigger. He can fly in Devil Trigger. No. I know you can't. I know he doesn't fly in the games, but he can fly. He's done it before. No. Dante would. Everyone would then go home, and then everyone sees. Everyone sees Dante walking at the opposite direction from the train station and asks why heading that way. As Dante says, "Oh, my house is literally 5 minutes down the road." A 5-minute walk that way. He points down the road. And he waves and tells him, then says, "I'll see y'all later." And he walks away. And everybody's teasing Momo about how she freaked out during the class today. She tells them all to shut up as she walks home, or gets on the bus or gets on the train and goes home. Then she cries herself to sleep for being so stupid that she already revealed that she liked Deku, or not Deku, liked Dante. And she wonders if he likes her. Now, the next day, we're gonna go, and then we're gonna skip a few days. We're gonna the very next day. All Might will show up, and they do Hero versus Villains as Deku calls All Might Uncle Might, like how Melissa does. So just like Melissa, Dante calls All Might Uncle Might. All Might smiles and chuckles at Dante. Don't mind that. I just dropped something. Now, I'm going to do the Heroes vs. Villains, and I'm going to end it here. I'm going to end it after Heroes vs. Villains. Now, it's going to be Deku and Dante versus Ida and Bakugo. Todoroki sits out, and Ochako replaces Todoroki. Now, Dante is going to tell Izuku that I want to beat up that blonde kid. Dante would say, his name is Bakugo. Dante would then say, "Bakugo, blonde kid, doesn't matter to me. I want to put him in his place." Cocky. Then Izuku would say, "Yeah, but I also want to fight him to show that I have become a hero." Then Dante says, "Why don't we fight him together?" Izuku says, "Great idea." And then they walk in and fight Bakugo together, swapping out with Deku throwing 10% smashes, and Dante using his gloves and gauntlets, not using Devil Sword Dante. He's not even going to disrespect Bakugo by not even using his Devil Trigger, using just his enhancement quirk, which is something he has passively on. Now we're going to go to Dante and Deku easily beat Bakugo. Then they go to fight Ida. Dante tells Deku to sneak around while I make him focus me down. Then Dante rushes in with the boot, which I must say makes him run slightly faster. So with the boost from the boots and his natural speed, he's faster than Ida without reciprocal burst. Ida's above him with her simple burst, but without simple burst, Ida's slower. They get into a fist/kick fight, and Dante's smiling the entire time, as Ida finally asks, "What are you smiling about?" As Dante says, "None of your business." And then 2 seconds later, Dante says, "Look behind you." Ida says, "I'm not going to fall for that." And then Dante says, "Well, you fell for it anyway." And then Ida says, "What do you mean?" And then he hears All Might say that Hero Team wins. Then he turns around to see that Izuku shot the bomb. And Dante says, "That's what I mean by I fell for it. If you were turned around to look at Izuku, you would have got punched by me in the back of the head. If you would have stayed looking at me, you wouldn't even notice Izuku was behind you." Ida's sad, but he says, "Y'all both got me good." Now, as they're watching the fights, Momo walks up to Dante and asks him on a date. Dante says, "Well, sure. What could go wrong?" Then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Dante's hero costume is what you see on screen. Everyone would ask him, why does his hero costume have 0 protection? And then Dante will pull out a Dante would pull out a replica of Rebellion. It says, "This is why," as he stabs himself through the freaking chest, and walks around like nothing changed whatsoever. Which does make the same Mineta throw up. And Dante says, "This is why." And then Dante pulls his sword out and the cut regenerates. That's also why I have the scar. I was stabbed through the chest by my own sword once. And then they would ask and they would ask what happened to the dude who did it. Deku would say, Dante would say, "I knocked him the fuck out." But what else am I going to do? Kill him? No. He didn't deserve it. He didn't deserve to die. Anyway, and Dante would say, "That's how I unlocked my full power." After that, I absorbed Rebellion, and my full power became true. As then he showed Devil Sword Dante for the first time. As Dante would say, "This is Devil Sword Dante, the one I talked about a little bit and didn't explain." Then he'll pull out Rebellion and Sparta, and says, "This is Devil Sword Sparta and Rebellion." I absorbed both of them and made Devil Sword Dante, which is why I call it Devil Sword Dante.